In a few days, the fate of the world in some respects will be on the line. And half the country is going to have to accept the outcome. I hope it's the other half. Acceptance is really, it's something that sounds easy. We just accept. Just go ahead and accept it. Well, if that was true, it would be easy and we could, but it doesn't work that way, really. Not really. Acceptance is kind of a full body chunk. You know when something is let go. You know when you've let go, you're able to move on and let it be. But to get to that point that's a little tricky because we have a habit. As little kids, when we were in our diapers and not feeling comfortable, and when we were hungry and not feeling comfortable, we did a wham. And when we still have that, and we're still doing it. And you know that constricted feel of just, yeah. I don't want the experience I'm having now. I don't want it. I don't know what I want, but I don't want this. Wah! Sounds like, I won't go there. And they wear red hats. I went there. I had a friend, John Close, and we were talking lately, and he has this old Austin Healey, and we were talking about acceptance. He says, I have a great story, and he said, I was head deep in the hood and the engine trying to get this little bolt on way underneath there, and I was getting more and more pissed off. It wasn't going on. And I realized I finally just lost it. I came roaring out from under the hood and was running around the garage like some whirling dervish, like a Yosemite Sam with his shooting off his guns. And he's going, what am I doing? I let that little bolt take all of my peace. That little bolt I had given all my power to, and guess what? I gave it away, and here I am, running around crazy. And he said, this is nuts. So he went in the house, he had some tea, did some emails, and checked reality. He thought that the reality of fixing his car was going to be boom, boom, you put the bolt on, it's just like that. But that wasn't the reality. Reality was, this was a tough job. It was really going to be tough to get that on there. He might have to use different tools or to jack the engine up to move it so he could get to it. So when he came back to the garage about an hour later, he had a different reality. This is going to be really a challenge. I'm going to have patience. And he was prepared in a different way. He had accepted what was going to be going on here, and he was prepared for it. And as luck would have it, he went down in, the bolt went right on. Now, it's not really causative, but it was a lesson that he really learned and passed on to all of us, that how we give our power away to circumstances and how easy it is to do. And here we're going to have some circumstances coming in a couple days. Are we going to give our power away? Are we able to accept the reality of the situation? If it's raining outside, it's raining. We can fight, and we do. But how long do we want to fight? That's the question. It's not if you're going to fight. Of course you're going to fight. You know, stuff comes up. You're going to resist it. We're going to have a wah. But how long are we going to wah? That's the key. How long? Werner Erhard talks about happiness and peace is directly proportional to accepting what is. When we accept what is, the fight goes out. When we actually accept, oh, this is the reality. Yes, I don't want it to be raining, but it's raining and I have to adjust. That's putting down the sword. We can't help but pick the sword up. That's our habit. We pick it up to fight with reality. But if we carry that sword for too long, it gets heavy and it takes our energy. And when it takes our energy, we have less energy to do the things that we really want to do because we're carrying around and we're ready to fight with this sword. Back in 2006, I went with Susan to an enlightenment conference in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is 7,000 feet altitude. It's in December. It snows. Who would have figured that one out? Well, about the 300 participants that came hadn't figured that out. And they came and going, oh, it's snowing. They're fighting with reality. Oh, it's snowing. It's terrible. It's this and this. I'm watching this. I'm going, this is an enlightenment conference. So here they are complaining. And so I go to the first seminar, and it's Isaac Shapiro. And I had never heard of him, never seen him before. And whoa, first thing out of his mouth, he said, all suffering is a direct result of not wanting to have the experience that you're having now. All suffering is really not wanting to have the experience that you're having now. You're fighting with reality. And when you see that, when you really see that you're causing your own suffering, it's not the snow, it's your story about the snow or your expectations about that bolt should go on quickly. When you see that, you're able to perhaps accept it. And when you accept it, there's a relaxation, an exhale, and you drop the sword. Well, as I noticed after hearing that, I was also watching the folks complaining about the snow. And there was those that continued into the next day, and there are those that dropped it. And my hunch is the most successful people in life are those that can drop it quickly. Those that carry the sword around get tired, get cranky. Those that are able to drop the sword have energy freed up to do other things, more productive things than carrying a sword around. There was this woman, and it's the story of the woman who goes out in this boat to meditate. She goes way out into the lake. It's peaceful, calm, nobody's around. She's meditating, having a great time. This is a good meditation. She's really right there. Boom. Somebody bumps into her boat. She is pissed. Opens up her eyes and is ready to give that boatman a piece of her mind and realizes it's an empty boat. The wind had blown the boat somehow across the lake and had bumped into her of all the luck. But the teaching aspect of the story is how easily it is to blame somebody. And when there's nobody to blame, there's nobody to fight. I mean, we'll fight anyway for a little while, but there's nobody to fight. We're going to fight the wind. We're going to fight. There's nobody there. Now, if there was somebody there, now we have somebody we can blame, attack, and we can get really involved in and get our sword nice and bloody. And we do that sometimes to people that we care about when they don't behave the way we want them to behave. And then we try to change them. Oh, that's a whole nother talk. So it's not really the circumstances, but our story that goes along with the circumstances. The story is there shouldn't be anybody out in the lake. This is my lake. This is my time. It's my me. It shouldn't have happened. That's a great story, but it's not reality. So when we fight with reality, we only always lose because it's reality. So again, how quickly can we come to peace with the way things are? Exactly the way things are. And we'll get an opportunity. We get an opportunity every single day as the news comes. So there's the story of the panda and the cat. The panda was the master, the cat was the student, and they were on their way on a pilgrimage 3 days into the forest to visit the tree of wisdom. And on the second day, they were on this mountainside, treacherous. The wind was blowing, it was stormy and rainy, and the cat wasn't enjoying the journey. The panda, as the cat looked back at, seemed pretty unresponsive to what was going on, the circumstances. So the cat thought, well, turns to the panda and says, if I gave you 3 wishes, what would they be? The cat needed some distraction. He wanted to see what was going on with the master. The master thought about it. The master said, well, first wish would be on this mountain. The second wish would to be on this mountain today with this weather, with the rain and the wind. And the third wish would be on this mountain in the rain and the wind with you, my friend the cat. Ah, the cat didn't like that at all. And we can see why. You would choose this. Yep. Everything is constantly changing. It's constantly in flux. This is going to change in an hour or two. The sun might even come out. We don't know. I will only be in this experience now. Why don't I just enjoy or appreciate or be grateful for this experience just as it is, knowing that it won't last long. Whatever it is, it will not last long. And the cat says, well, I guess this is why you're the master, but that's hard to take. I don't like this. How long do you want to suffer and fight with it? Oh, he didn't like that. But it's all of our story. How long do we want to fight with it? What if we were to choose exactly what's going on in our lives exactly as it is right now? Knowing, of course, it's going to change. But what if we were to accept it exactly as everything is? What other choice do we have? This is reality. So either you choose it or you don't. You can continue fighting, but you will lose every time. In Zen, they call it the two arrows. I know you've heard this. The first arrow is the arrow of circumstance. It's raining. That's the first arrow. Oh, I don't like it. Ouch, it hurts. The second arrow is we do to ourselves. We take the arrow and we stab ourselves with it. Damn, I hate this rain. This shouldn't be happening. I had plans today. You've ruined it. And which arrow hurts the most? It's always the second arrow. It's the story we tell about the circumstance. So acceptance is about dropping the story. It's dropping the story, it's letting it be, and it's moving on because nothing is permanent. The mind is stuck in wham, I want it changed now, not realizing it's going to change anyhow. Whether we fight it or not, it will change. I know you've heard about the 15 years of back pain that I had. I'll go through it very quickly. I had tried everything for 15 years. I had sort of mentally put my life on hold, waiting for the cure. Then I could get on with my life. So I was constantly in hope, fighting the reality of the back. I wasn't going to let this. I was going to fight it, and I'm going to fight it and fight it. And after 15 years, it just wasn't working. And I heard the psychic, went to the psychic. The psychic says, it's not working. You're right. It's not working. It is not working. And she said, I see you looking down this hallway with 100 doors. And what you're searching for is not behind any of those doors. You're going to have to look somewhere else. Do you know what that means? I said, yes. And basically, it's to give up the search. It's to drop the sword. It's to accept that I have back pain, probably have it the rest of my life. Can I be okay with that? I guess I have to be. Can I be with it okay today? Yes, I can. Okay. So right there was something that went ka-chunk. Because if I could have changed it, if I could have willed it, if I could have done anything, I would have. But when she gave me permission in a way to let go, just to let it go and to stop trying to fix it and to move on. So here are the three takeaways. You let it go, you let it be, and you move on. And it's a lot harder than it looks. Because we don't, I had that death grip on that sword for 15 years. I was going to fight that. I'm going to go for it. But to let it go, my hand was frozen in that. And somehow she gave me permission. It's not working. Let it go. And that's really the essence of forgiveness, too. It's they live in the same car. So, as a result of letting it go and not keeping my life on hold, something started to change. Something started to move. Within about 2 weeks, I was feeling better. I hadn't done a thing. And within 6 months, wow, don't know how that happened. And I don't want to point to causation, but I'm hunching, though, that it had something to do with acceptance and letting go of the fight and freeing up energy. So, sort of in wrapping this up, can we become more curious about who's causing our suffering? It's only me. It's not the circumstances. And then going back to Isaac and hearing him say, basically, my suffering is always it's about not wanting to have the experience I'm having right now, but I'm having it. That's the reality. So why don't I choose the experience I'm having right now, and my suffering can disappear. And that's what Werner was saying too. And so what if we were to take a look? What is it that we really want? Do we want peace? Yeah, I want peace. We want comfort. Do we want relaxation? Do we want connection? Yeah. Maybe a good lemon bar every now and then. Or do I want to continue fighting? Do I want to demand that circumstances and life shows up the way I want it to show up? Do I want to twist reality to my will? Or do I want to accept what is given? To simply accept what is given. And with that, we'll take this into prayer. As we gently breathe together from the heart and through the heart, and letting the feeling take us to that which we hold so dear, that was what we really want, which is our connection to the beloved, to love, to connection with family and friends, community, to be at ease with all of this. And so as we breathe in this feeling of connection, knowing that the wah disappears when we're comforted, and that we can comfort ourselves by simply accepting and being grateful for all that has been given. All that has been given. And in doing so, we go from being a pauper to an emperor. We become the emperors of our lives through acceptance. And so we feel in again, accepting our lives again exactly as they are. And so in gratitude, I release this prayer. I let it be, and so it is.